say this topic is always not anxious. I'm kind of apprehensive about particularly into it because out of the 5 guys that's sitting in here, I'm the only one who didn't go to college. So I have almost a totally different view to guys who have gone to college. And no, I'm not trying to go on. I'm a fairly decent, intelligent guy. I'm not stupid by any means. But my reason is for going to college, and I did try. I tried 5 times to do college, and it didn't work out for me mainly because of what you said. I couldn't see it being practical. I think the one I had the most potential doing and finishing was online classes, and I was taking it last year. I was taking it last year. I was doing pretty good. A whole lot of work to do. I could do the work. It's not a problem. But I'm going over this stuff and I'm like, I can't use it. I can't use it yet. I can't use it at all. So even when I tried actually going to a college setting, and this wasn't just in college, this was in high school too. I barely made it out of high school because I was convinced that none of what I was learning was applicable in real life. And I'm not trying to validate my thought process, but most of what I learned in school I have not used. The math, I didn't start using the math that I learned in school until I started doing the program, the AmeriCorps program. That was the only time I actually had to utilize math. You had to utilize algebra. Never before have I had to do that. And like geometry, I never had to use that in real life. I never had, However, also let me say this, but because of the fact that I have not gone to college, and because of the fact I don't have a degree, I do have to work a lot more harder than people who have gone because they can work more smarter. Now, like I said, I'm not stupid by any means, but the path that I have chosen to walk is a lot more tough that I wouldn't advise anybody to take it. I wouldn't say, yeah, you should do this now. So even when I'm in position to talk to students or even teach students, in certain types of situations, I say, find out what it is that you want to do and do what's necessary to get there. If it's college, then you need to prepare to go to college. If it's not college, then you need to prepare to work pretty hard because it's not always easy. It's not always, okay, I got an idea, bam, this idea is going to come to fruition. Everything is all that in the bag of chips. That's just not the case. But for me, myself personally, college is not for me. I tried it, and it's not the education I have a problem with. It's actually the education system that I have a problem with. That's where my real issue comes in. Now, can other guys who say that who doesn't go to college say, yeah, I have a problem with the education system too? I don't know. But me, myself personally, I can honestly say I have a serious problem with the education system. I'm totally against America's education system. And the way it's built, the format, everything, I'm totally against it.
Well, I'm just go ahead, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. I agree with Brother Bush, on the look at the education system. Let's just go ahead and say it. College is nothing but a big hustle. Either you're gonna get hustle or you're gonna hustle the system. Simple as that. Don't look me up, but I know ways to get around tests. I know ways to get around essay. You name it, you can pretty much believe either I did it or somebody around me did it. And I think one of those misconceptions is that college is for everyone between the ages of 18 and 22. You don't have to go to college fresh out of high school. And sometimes it's better for people to step back and learn who they are as a person before they try to throw themselves out into the college environment. Because a lot of my teachers used to tell me, when you go to college, no one's going to wake you up in the morning. So if you're thinking that your professor's going to call your mom's house and say, hey, look, Brother Willis didn't show up to class today, it's not going to go down like that. And so at the end of the day, college is not high school part 2. College is real world 101. There are many experiences and similarities and similes and metaphors that I could show, and you can understand how college is like the real world. But at the end of the day, we have to understand that you yourself can help yourself to graduate. I think A lot of times we look for student support services, or we look for other, organizations to help us through college. But college is not so much about what you learn, but who you meet. You can graduate with a 2.5 GPA and know the son of a CEO of a business and get the job just on that, just on who you know, the type of person you are. Whereas you may have someone who has a 4.0 and never met anyone, and they're one of those people who sit in interview after interview after interview, who know the content, but you can't get a job. So that's one of those misconceptions that I like to put out there is, it's not what you know when you leave college, it's who you know when you leave college. Because there's many times I walk around the street and I meet people who I met in school, and they're ready to offer me opportunities just because they remember who I was as a person in college. But if you don't ever take that chance to go to college and meet those people, to surround yourself around those individuals who are like-minded, who are business-oriented, it may be hard for you to be exposed to those opportunities.
And that's exactly where I was going to see. Brother Willis totally took the wind out of myself on that, but that's exactly where I was going. That is a major misconception, that people think college is just all about the academic information that is coming to you. But actually, 50% of what you get from college is personal growth. Learning how to make those connections, but also just learning how to be an adult, learning how to, in most cases, learning how to live away from your parents, learning how to pay your bills, learning how to deal with people you might not have ever dealt with before. That's very important, and that's part of the college experience for most people, and that is highly important. That's definitely just as important as whatever you learn out of the books.
I think another misconception, one of the hugest ones that I hear often, is that college is not for black people, men or women, but college is not for us. Higher education in general is just not something that's for me or for us. And that goes back to, what I was saying before about the disconnect between, like, what you said. You have to find out, first of all, you need to figure out where you want to be, what you want to do, and understand what it takes to get there. And for some people, college is a step, for other people it isn't. But I think a lot of times, in dealing with children, they want to be this and they want to be that. They have no idea how to get there. And they have no understanding that college is one of those conditioning stages, one of those educational stages that's necessary. But yeah, we don't have a real understanding of point B. And like, how far away really is point B? How much work does it take to get to point B? How much personal energy am I going to have to extend to get to point B? We just kind of think that, it's going to be handy. Even people that graduate from college, like Dave was saying, people think that when you graduate from college, you just got a job waiting on you. That misconception is not one that everybody sheds during the college process, but I think it's definitely a misconception that people have prior to college, that it's not for me, and I really don't need it to get to where I'm trying to be. But if you really think about what you're trying to do, it might be one of those steps.
And 9 times out of 10, what most people choose to do for the rest of their life, it would help to have a college degree.
Yeah.
It's not too many professions anymore that you could do in any capacity, whether you're an employee or a business owner, that you can do without having some type of education.
Even I can agree with that. I find that when we're talking business with various people, especially when I was younger, not so much now, and I'll tell you why, but when I was younger and I'm talking business with various people, they're interested in what I have to say, they're interested in picking my brains and knowing what I think about this, that, and the other. But when they find out that I didn't go to college, I don't have a college education, after the surprise, like, whoa, didn't go to college too, I get a different look. They look at you differently. They look at me differently. And this is part of what I have to fight through for not going, because in society's eyes, the way I see it, in society's eyes, you are not beneficial to the business world if you don't have a formal education. Nowadays, I still get that every now and again, not as much, nowhere near as much, because most of the people that I deal with business-wise are people who know my background as far as my work ethic and how how well of a worker I am, what I produce when I'm in a position. People, those who are in the higher positions, they get impressed. They really like what I do. They see the effects of my abilities. So my knowledge on the situation or my knowledge in the job doesn't get questioned anymore. However, it's beneficial on one side of the fence because I have a foundation and I could build on this foundation, which is great. However, it's detrimental on another side of the fence. Say if I wanted to or needed to get up and move to another state, okay, I would be royally screwing myself because I would have to start all the way over. I pretty much cemented myself here, and the only way I could actually escape is to either raise up enough funds to open up a school or something that I could start someplace else and then work there, or get an education, because the education will have to be education. Having a degree, it's a portable foundation. You can move around. I mean, you really can. But if you've done something, if you've taken a path similar to what I've taken, then your foundation is cemented right where it is. And you have to build up from there. And once you get to a certain spot, then you can move around and about. I haven't gotten to that point yet. So, when I talk to people, like, yeah, you're doing things, you're being effective. Yes, I am. I do the best that I can with what I have. But if I go back down to home, which is Miami, or if I go to Tennessee, I'm going to be asked out. It's a setback.
I think that's real. I've never even really heard it put into words in that way, but that's one of the realest descriptions I've heard. The fact that you kind of have to be where you are. I mean, you build a solid network and foundation where you are, but it limits your ability to really go other places. Certain people have a good face card. I go anywhere in the streets and people know me, but you can't really go anywhere in the streets because everybody don't know you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people in a very concentrated area, but you go outside of that, people don't know you. They don't know nothing about you. And when it comes to getting a job and getting employment, people want to see what you got on paper. Right. And they don't know you. Yeah, wow.
And so it's like I'm in a position to where I have to be successful in what I do. I have to, because if I don't, then I either have two choices. Either I live as a bum, or I go to school and really force myself to work my way through and get that piece of paper so I can have opportunity someplace else. So fortunately, us being in Atlanta has so much potential, and all I have to do is just put my hand in the right spot, and I can grow from there. All right. I'm not weary. I'm not worried about me being successful. I'm not worried about me never being able to be financially sound or financially set. I'm not worried about that. It's more of a question of when, not if. However, if the economy was to get even worse and it took away my potential, then most people would say, okay, well, hey, Atlanta's not where it's at. I'm taking my degree over to California. I take it up to Dakota or something. You can start off. This is why I don't promote not going to college, even though my parents know me. They know I was dead set against formal education. But what they don't know is that I don't promote that. I don't promote the outside school because I know how hard it is. I know the position that you find yourself in.
He can help